Hey guys, I'm back, and today we're gonna do a quick summoning video and a quick also just unit review for the new units that came out with the Certain Gods and Familia Love Songs event or long tail that came out. I'm sorry for not doing the video for the news for it. I had a little bit of a messed up sleep schedule and I was feeling pretty tired, so I decided not to do it in the end. But I will still give you guys my opinion, and we'll quickly go through the units, the 4 units that came out, and then we'll also do summons towards the end of the video. So first let's go ahead and look at the new Haruhime. As soon as I find her, okay, here she is. So we get our first assist Haruhime. We haven't had one before. We've had three adventurers. And as far as the stats are concerned, she's an agility unit, which is, I guess, good for war game, but not so brilliant for the other modes. And then the ability she has at MLB is damage received all targets and single targets plus 15%, and MP regen 20 MP per turn for your allies. This is the highest currently available debuff for your all and single target attacks, the 15%. We also see it on the other units. So Moonlight Hestia has an AoE 15% debuff, and Ryulu has an wait, I messed it up. Moonlight Hestia is a single target 15%, and Ryulu is a AoE single target debuff for 15%, but Haruhime has these two combined, and then the MP heal on top of it. So she's definitely a good unit, but if you have those 2 units already, I would be a little bit conservative, I guess, because it's small percentages, and it helps if you're trying to go for like really the top level of play in Record Buster and other PvE, but she's worth to get at least a copy, especially if you don't have Moonlight Reunion, if you didn't go for the Outside Aurario Eyes that is in the special banner gacha, which has a little bit of a smaller percentage there for the single target and AoE debuff. I believe Haruhime at it's just 2% lower at non-MLB, so it's not that much of a difference anyways. But then let's go ahead and look at the adventurers. The best one being the Valve. I think this is the best one, which also makes the banner with Valve and Haruhime better than the other banner with Makoto and Lily. And for the Valve, I like to look at the other skills first and then the essay. The first skill is the essay gouge gain, and it also buffs your magic, dexterity, and fire attack damage. So this is a replacement for Line and Idol Line, which we also saw in Special Gacha. So it looks like there's the motive of them releasing new units that kind of upgrade or replace a little bit the units that were in the Special Banner Gacha. But it's not really strictly better. If you're using Haruhime, the OG Haruhime, the red one, you might want to use this Valve as a sacrificial unit instead of the Idol Line, because the only thing you're missing out on is the 20% crit chance from the Idol Line, and you get your dexterity you get your dexterity instead of that. And then your dexterity and magic and fire attack you should already have on your units that buff themselves on your other damage dealers. So what you would use this as a sacrifice for is the essay gouge and then the dexterity, which is definitely valuable, but not ultimately necessary. But I think where Valve shines is actually just being a high damage attacker, as he does have a fast high magic attack damage, which also has the debuff for all and single target damage increase for your units. This is also present on Goblin Slayer and a lot of other things now, so you should already have this, but if you are using a team with Valve, then you don't necessarily need to use another one of those units, because Valve already applies that. And then the strongest attack is, I mean, the non-essay strongest one is the super fire magic attack with temporary magic boost and high penetration rate, and then your allies gain 40% regen. It's pretty high hitting, but it is missing the plus X% per every magic buff or per every agility buff or something like that, which we do see on most of the units nowadays. In exchange, he provides the HP regen, but unless you're missing survivability, it's not really that necessary. So let's look at the assay attack as well, the special attack, which does have the plus 40% per each self magic and fire attack damage buff, which means that his assay will be hitting much harder than his skill free, obviously, and also probably harder than a lot of other units as well. And as far as his stats go, he's actually at 1900 magic. That is with my CP levels, where Valve is not fully leveled, so it's probably higher than that at the end when you actually end up maxing him. So it seems like a good attacker. There's other alternatives for a fire team, especially if you're more focused on physical damage instead of magic. I think Kotori is still better than the Valve, especially because her skill free does more damage. So the units are definitely good and usable, but they're not like really necessary, at least in my opinion. And then the Makoto and Lily we'll just quickly look at, and then because I don't think they're actually that great. So here's the Lily. Let's check the stats first. She's a strength attacker with pretty high strength stat. She's also dark. So far I haven't seen her in Wargame at close to the hero level. Her special attack is the doesn't have a modifier, which we saw on the not Valve, but has dexterity debuff and dexterity buff for yourself, so I guess that's what they're trying to do with this. She also has dexterity buff for allies and dexterity, strength and magic debuff for your enemies on her second skill, but she and then her skill free is, I guess, something we haven't really seen before, as it reduces the actually it's a foe's high dark attack with temporary strength boost and ultra uncounter rate, and physical magic resists, and all the element resists are down by 3 turns. So she basically removes buffs from your enemies, which isn't really that valuable because not many people are actually using those buffs. I guess she's good versus Otarl, but it's really about it. So I don't think Lily is necessarily very good, despite having a high strength. And then let's look at Makoto as well, which is a balance type, which means that she doesn't have that high magic stat. And then she's similar to Lily a little bit in that she debuffs guard with her special attack and increases counter rate for your allies. And then she has a single target super fire magic attack, which does have a modifier for every magic resist reduction skill, which does hit decently hard, I guess. Still not as high as something like Kotori, especially because she is lacking the magic stat. Her skill 2 is a fast strength, magic, physical resist, magic resist, and fire resist. But there's no agility on this, so she's not as strong as something like Daphne, for example. It's also only for 2 turns. And then her skill 3 is a AoE attack with status debuff plus 3 turns. But if you're using something like Haruhime, which already extends the buffs and debuffs, you don't really need this. I don't know how much it applies in Wargame, as I haven't really seen much of Makoto yet, but again, I don't think she's really that great of a unit. So out of the 4 units and the 2 banners, that there are. I definitely think the Haruhime and Valve is the better one out of the two. And if you are gonna end up going for one of them, I think this one is the one to go for. But I don't strictly think it's very necessary to do so. The units aren't time limited either. So that's pretty much my review. And since this video is actually 10 minutes long, I think I'm gonna end up stopping the video here and then recording a second part where we'll do summons. So hopefully you got something from that unit review. And I will be following this up with a summoning video very soon, so you can look forward to that. Hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!